Alright, so we are spawning on Jungle Basin. Finally picking a Terran favored map on as the opening map for this UEN League, and it happens to be the week I'm facing another Terran player, so no advantage there. Yeah, Ghost is spawning as the teal Terran in the top left-hand position, and the bottom right is myself, the green Terran player. So we'll just speed it up a touch to get to this opening. So I'm going to be going for my mass air build. It's kind of my bread and butter. I figure I'll open up with the build I know best. So I'm going to be walling off my ramp. This is definitely optional. I think the only advantage to this is stopping Hellions. Obviously it has some downsides in that these structures are susceptible to getting sniped by siege tanks. Scout coming out from Ghost. And it looks like he's queued up to actually check for a fast expand as well. So just poking around a little bit, getting a good view of my base. Same time we'll see what's going on in Ghost Base. Okay, a little different positioning. Looks like he's using his opening structures to get just good vision with the first supply depot, and then just some sort of partially forward position with the barracks. I've noticed his mechanics are a little ridiculously good, so he probably dropped his barracks as soon as he hit 150 supply, or 150 minerals, so he's probably moving out and then just dropped it as soon as he got the mineral count for it. And taking out my first SCV scout, however, second barracks in a proxy position close to my base. This is going to be interesting. I did scout no gas, so I think, yes, I did pull out my barracks and threw a bunker. Even if you don't scout the multiple barracks, if you scout no gas, you gotta be thinking, okay, what's he spending his money on? It's gotta be only one of two things. Either multiple barracks, or he's going for a fast expand. So pulling a bunch of SCVs, moving out with his first chunk of Marines and the Marines from his proxy barracks. Going to my front wall, killing a critter, and pulling back once he sees the bunker. So that was foiled. However, he didn't actually lose a single unit, and these SCVs will be going back to their mining soon enough. So definitely didn't help him, but probably would have won the game if I didn't throw up a bunker, and he didn't lose a whole lot in the process as he didn't commit to it. Oh, and this is brilliant. That's where it came from. Nice transition. Okay, use it as a proxy barracks, and then once they're done with that little push, now it's a proxy scout barracks. You can use it to scout my base and save the 300 minerals that you'd have to spend on the scan otherwise. I do see he has a couple of Marines checking at the bottom of my ramp, so I want to get rid of those scouts. Some little Gosu micro there pulling back my hurt Marine. Not really, but come on. I gotta take what I can get and match against a Master Leagues player. And he is coming into my base, however, my scan avoiding structure placement is probably going to work well versus this as well.
SCV ready.
Let's check. Yeah, he's not seeing much, even at my 8 frames per second going on here. Yeah, so he's not scouted my multiple starports, however he probably does see the double gas. At least he's seen one. Yeah, he knows about both gas, assuming he's looking at the SCVs there. So he knows I'm double gassed, so he should know I'm teching towards something. At the same time, throwing down his own expansion. So he's using the those early Marines for map control, just to see when I push out, and allowing him to safely get an expansion up. And if we bring up the harvester count, wow, I'm well behind already. So this is the thing. This is like a high-level Master Leagues player, and he has the mechanics for that level. I'm a high-level Diamond League player, but I have the mechanics of like a Platinum League player. I mean, the only reason I'm Diamond is because people rush my Fortress Fast Expand and I can throw auto turrets down a Zerg's throat. Not because if I have really good macro or micro. But I do have Banshees and Cloak coming out. I am getting spotted though by Xel'Naga Tower. He does have one air turret. I don't really agree with this positioning. I know everyone does it like this, but it doesn't actually protect your mineral line. I like to put in my mineral line. Yeah, okay, maybe it'll make your SCVs not quite as efficient at mining, but but I think it's worth it having one turret being able to cover almost your entire line. And I think I missed it, but his barracks actually floated all the way over here to look for a command center, and then floated all the way back, and only then spotted my starports. And by that point, I had already had a Banshee out. So I do have one injured Banshee here. Looks like I think I sniped. Let's see, I got up to 4 kills, so I probably killed maybe 1 Marine and 3 SCVs. But if we bring up the income tab, you can see I'm still 10 SCVs behind, so not going well. That's the thing with any of these sort of harass strategies. I mean, doing damage is nice, but you have to at least do enough damage to make the money you invested in your harass worthwhile. I mean, for me, the Banshees aren't just harass. I mean, I do transition it into a Sky Terran build, but still, at the same time, you invest that much money into early cloak, you need to do a lot of damage, especially against someone who's going for such an economic build. And Ghost is up to 4 gas. Looks like he's only got 2 on this refinery. I'm sure he'll fix that up soon enough. Finally starting that repair. That's why I brought that SCV out there. And doing some more poking around out here. You can see these Banshees got just 2 kills. So it looks like he got better missile placement there. So, but I can still poke away at the edge like I'm doing here. Okay, a couple more SCV kills. He's moving out. I'm not paying attention here. I'm not microing. There I am, finally getting control and pulling out. Oops. Alright. That was a little risky when I had no hit points left. It's a pretty good missile turret placement here. I'm just going to pause just to point it out. Notice he just puts 2 on the right-hand side. And does that cover his whole base? No, but what it does is it prevents me from coming in from behind. So I have to come in this zone, and this zone is well covered by Marines. So you don't actually have to set up missile turrets to cover your entire base. You can use them just to funnel the Banshees or the Mutas or whatever harass units into the zone where you know you can easily defend, like i.e. being the zone where all the Marines are. So I'll go back with this missile turret here though. I'm not really confident I can get in deep. I don't want to fly in this way, especially when there's stim and so much scan available. So I'm just poking away what I can. You know, taking out the weak structures like tech labs and Banshees. Oh, that sucks. I was actually within missile turret sight range there, so he didn't even have to waste a scan to kill me. Oh, and that was... Oh, wait. How did he not die from a 2-shot? How does he still have 11 hit points? Banshee does 24 damage per shot. So 48 damage should be enough to 2-shot him. I wonder how he got... Maybe he was weakened from an earlier push. So if we bring up the units lost tab, yeah, you can see I've done a lot of damage in terms of SCV count and killing structures. I've actually killed 1,000 more than I've lost in Banshees. But his heavy economy is just really taken over. I mean, it more than made up for that 1,000 difference. Like, yeah, I got my expansion up now, but you can tell I'm not nearly as saturated, I would say, as Ghost is at the moment. In fact, we can double check that, and yeah, I'm behind by a good 15 SCVs right now. Well, 17 SCVs. And he's setting up another command center to take his 3rd. I don't think I'm on top of my 3rd yet. Okay, I am on top of my 3rd, but I'm still behind in harvester count. However, I do have the map control now with the Banshees. I mean, this is what I do with this build. Obviously, when I go this Banshee route, I don't have the stronger army, but I use it to keep my opponents turtled and defensive. With that said though, Ghost is not really doing what he's supposed to do. Like, well, he is doing what he's supposed to do, but he's not doing what I want him to do. Run! Oh, that was close. In that I want him to be turtled and defensive, and he's still pushing out hard, putting on a lot of pressure. He's actually had one Marine here, a really nice place to scout. I mean, you can see it, that it'll help you if I try to fly around this tower on the left. I'll probably pass by this Marine. So it's a good scout position, and at the same time, he's just been sitting here whacking away at my rocks, and I'm not good enough to actually pay attention to that. Now he is coming in my back door, stimming. See me, he's going to get some SCV kills. Am I going to be over-racked in time? Fairly good, I guess. Looks like he got a couple SCV kills. And maybe we can get my refinery. And he stimmed really hard. I could just A-move him with my Marines, my SCVs here, and probably take him out. So I think what I'm going to do... Yeah, not too bad. Okay, I think I lost maybe 5, 6 SCVs total. Kind of painful for just a handful of Marines. While Ghost is coming out to take his third. Or not. Yep, there he goes. Good amount of tanks on the field, good amount of Marines. I'm taking my third as well, of course at a high yield. Or not at a high yield, like... no, this isn't a high yield either. Did this used to be a high yield? I don't know why I'm thinking that. Maybe because it's a central position. And within sight of Zelnaga Towers, that usually is the recipe for a high yield. Oh, painful. Just trying to abuse the range and get out before those scans kill me. Move back, move back, move back. You know he's going to scan. Oh, not good. Kind of an interesting spot for the tanks. We might have range on the refinery, or even maybe the orbital. I'm not quite sure. Something definitely worth testing out, as it can be a way to abuse that little ledge. Moving on my ramp, that bunker's not going to be able to hold this at all. Ouch. Hold back! Oh, Stim Marines is such... Oh, I still in scan range. Okay, well that was pretty terrible. And the fact that he was so offensive here, I never got an opportunity to make my transition to battlecruisers, which is what I want versus Stim Marines. I use the Banshees just to buy time and to, like, obviously to open it with harassment, and then just to buy time for me to get my expansions up and to get my battlecruisers out. And then by the time he feels confident enough to push, I got the battlecruisers to handle the Stim Marines. That, I think I'm more or less giving up at this point. Banshee is down. There goes my base. Yeah, that's right. You're stim so hard I can kill you with SCVs now. Take that, and lose all my Vikings. Why didn't I drop them on the tanks? I don't know. The Army Value tab. Oh yes, 140 over 32. So during all this attacking and rushing, he was still well on top of his macro, like pulling out a 150 supply force, even after losing all those Marines here. Yeah, so basically just losing to someone with superior mechanics and a build which was a superior economy. Yeah, his macro was pretty sick, and at the same time, his ability to stim and place scans perfectly really sniped a lot of Banshees. I guess I get a little bit risky with my Banshees, just because I know that the Terrans usually don't time it well. They don't like stim and charge and put a scan behind you like all at the same moment. It's usually a little bit obvious, and I can keep kiting them. But yeah, Ghost had a lot of good snipes on my Banshees. And I never got my Banshee count up, and with his aggression, I was never able to transition to battlecruisers. I don't even think I even bothered throwing down the, yeah, I never even threw down the, what's that structure you need for battlecruisers? Fusion core. And yeah, that's actually gross that he was able to be offensive with versus Banshees. He was actually able to go 3 orbitals, which is nice. I mean, this base is almost always a planetary fortress, but nope. He knows I was all air and that he had the aggressive ability with his Stim Marines, and in fact, the orbitals actually help his force, as it almost guarantees the fact that you'll always have a scan available. So there you have it. Highly high-level Master Leagues players schooling me in why he's Masters and I'm not. I don't know if this was actually casted, this league match, or not, so I don't think there's a link to it. But basically, yeah, game 2. I've got to say I felt a little bit what's the word I'm looking for? Don't have the vocabulary here. Disheartened, we'll say, after game 1, and feeling like, I did my bread and butter build and just got completely massacred. So I felt like I didn't have much of a chance. So game 2, I attempted to cheese Ghost, and yeah, there was actually timing there where I could have maybe done some damage, but I didn't push on that timing, and he completely slaughtered my cheese, and it was a very fast match. So Ghost 2-0'd me, so now I'm 3-2 in league match. However, I gotta say the 2 people I've lost to, Ghost and Icecraft, are probably the top 2 players in UEN. Not just because I lost to them, but I've been watching their other matches, and they've been playing really, really well. In fact, I think if they ever get matched up against each other, I'm probably going to make a VOD of that as well. It'll be my first Starcraft 2 video that doesn't involve me in the match, but they just seem like 2 solid players, and I don't want to do like the pro matches, but just seeing 2 players I definitely respect who aren't pros, I would like to do a cast on that. Plus, I'm really interested who would be the better player. Anyways, with that, we'll jump into the thumbs up fact of the day. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye for now.
Looks like I picked the wrong day to quit stim packs.
Alright, for today's thumbs up fact of the day, I want to talk a little bit about hotkeys. And I'm not talking about like, these hotkeys or hotkeying control groups. What I'm actually going to talk about is camera hotkeys. Ways to set hotkeys to just camera views, or the default camera views there already are. So one that you should know about is the backspace key actually rotates between all of your bases. And another one to know is you can actually set, just like you can set a unit to, I can set these units to control 1, and then when I click on something else and I press 1, they're available. You can do the same thing with the hotkeys, with camera hotkeys. So I can set this view right here to control F5, and then when I'm somewhere else and I want to come back there, I just hit F5 and I'm back to that zone. Now, I was saying backspace and F5 and stuff like that, but one thing I definitely suggest you do before I even get into the uses for these hotkeys is you want to change these. Assuming you use a left-handed keyboard setup, what I would suggest for the base cameras, the one that rotates between all your hatcheries, put it somewhere on the left-hand side of your keyboard. I like the tilde key. It's available, and it's in a good position. And backspace is way out of the way. The same reason to use your location hotkeys, your jump to location. I think by default it's set up as F5 to F8, but I just set mine up as F2 to F5. Obviously F1 is for idle workers, so you can't use that one. Well, I mean you can, but I like to use it for idle workers. So I just set it up for F2 to F5. That way everything's on the left-hand side of the keyboard. So I was just trying to think of some uses for these. One, I was thinking for larva inject, the base camera would be really nice. I think often Zerg players set up all their queens on separate hotkeys. We'll have this one is hotkey 1, and this one is hotkey 2, and this one is hotkey 3. And then they'll double tap 1, inject, and then they'll double tap 2, inject, and then they'll double tap 3, inject, which is nice, it's quick, it's handy, but it uses up a lot of your hotkeys. So I was thinking what you can do for the base camera instead is set all, say I have all of them on hotkey 5. So what I'm just going to do is just hit use the base camera and the hotkey of 5. So if I'm off somewhere doing some macro, I just go base camera 5, inject. Base camera 5, inject. Base camera 5, inject. And you can do it really quick. And the nice thing about it is your cursor always will be right on top of the hatchery. So you can do it very fast this way, and it only takes one hotkey. As for camera view, I was thinking maybe for spreading creep. Whenever you place down your creep tumors, quickly just go Control F2, and then when you're off doing your own thing, blah blah blah, just hit F2, come back, and now it's right there available to spread some more. Another use I was thinking for camera angles is to set your This looks like a drone to you, but it's actually a proxy pylon. Just use your imagination here. You set your proxy pylon area to a camera control, so F2. I mean, the other thing you can do is just actually hotkey your pylon itself, but then again, that uses up one of your, I think your first 5 hotkey groups right here are really important. So you can save one just by using the camera hotkey. So now I'm off doing my own thing, I'm doing my attack, and then I just hit F2, I'm right back here, and I can warp in more units. So those are the 2 camera hotkeys, which I believe are really underused or even completely unknown, and they have quite a few uses. I mean, this is just what I came up with off the top of my head before loading up this fact of the day thing, but I'm sure if I thought about more, I can think of more, and I'm sure you guys can think of a lot more uses of these camera hotkeys as well. Like for myself, here's my planetary expand and my planetary fortress, so you always have my expansion, and I keep my army here. So maybe I'll just hotkey this area of the map right here in front of my base. So when I'm, setting up buildings and stuff, and I hear an attack, I just go boom, F2, and I'm right here, and you can able to micro. Yeah, maybe you have a drone out at a Zelnaga tower, and when it gets picked off, you want to know what killed it. Well, even if you had your drone hotkeyed, you can't quickly pop to it once the drone's dead. Or, we'll say even better example is at the bottom of the ramp. So you have like a scout zergling at the bottom of the guy's ramp, and when it gets picked off, you want to quickly move over to this area of the map to see what killed it. Well, just set that to a control key. So blah blah blah, do my own thing. All of a sudden I hear my drone die. Boom, hit the hotkey, and I can see exactly what killed it. See, get the feel for the army and composition. Size of the army and the composition of the army. So with that is my thumbs up fact of the day. Backspace rotates between all your structures. F2 to F5. Or sorry, F5 to F8 are your hotkeys for just camera hotkeys you can set up, and I like to switch those hotkeys just to make them a little more left-handed. Switch the backspace to tilde, and switch the F5 to F8 down to F2 to F5. And with that, we'll call that the end of this thumbs up fact. Thank you everyone, and goodbye.